Hello everyone, welcome to today's session. I hope you guys are doing really well. So I know children, this is the very first session of the biology. So a very warm welcome. So today we're going to discuss about the very first chapter, which is crop production and management, and the topic is of course the agricultural practices. Okay, agriculture practices, basically, we're going to discuss in detail about the agriculture practices today. So before we start, let me introduce you to myself. I am Anam Khan. I'll be your biology expert for the session 2023 and 2024, and we're going to discuss all the amazing and interesting topics related to the biology. Just like today, we're going to discuss about the agriculture practices. Okay, so children, I hope I need to tell you that before we start the class, there's always, when you join the session, there are pre-class activities, and after the session gets over, there are post-class activity. So I request you children, so please always attempt the pre-class activities before you come for the session, so that you know what is going to be taught in the class. At least you have an idea that we're going to taught this in the class, and after the session is over and the concepts and the few topics are over, you're going to attempt the post-class activities, children, to have a better understanding of the concept, to solve questions related to this, so that you know that okay, this is something we have already discussed and this is something I have understood very clearly after practicing certain questions. Okay, so let's have other students also join the class. Let's wait for another minute. Okay, so children, your Embibe app, there's always, of course, there are live classes. All the classes will be scheduled for the coming session, okay? And in case you ever miss the class, okay, you can always see the recorded session, which will be there on your dashboard whenever you log in. Press the home button, go into the Embibe live classes, okay? All the past session, if you have missed because of any reason, you can basically see them on the class, okay? So moving on for the today's topic, which is the agriculture practices, children. Let's discuss in detail what are agriculture practices. So children, the whole topics to be covered in this whole session or the coming sessions. A good afternoon, Kanishk. Okay, I hope you guys are doing better. Good evening, Alvin. Okay, good evening. A very warm welcome, children, to all of you. Okay, so topics in this sessions or the coming session would be basically include. Today we're going to discuss about the agriculture practices. Then we're going to discuss about the basic properties of crop production in the next session. Then the next session would be about the preparation of soils, basic practices of crop production, manure and fertilizers, irrigation, preparation of soil, manure and fertilizers again, and protection from weed and harvesting. So all the topics respectively, each and every session will be covered in detail. So I request you to always register for the class whenever you see a class scheduled on a particular day, on a particular timing, so that you don't miss a session, so that you get an update. Good evening, Yashika. I hope you guys are doing really well. So children, these are the topics will be covered in all the coming sessions, but today we're going to discuss about the agriculture practices. So what is agriculture? What is the need of having an agriculture? Okay, children, very simple. The food you eat, whether it's pulses, rices, grains, all the crops, all the vegetables, all the fruits are all coming because of the agriculture practices. Okay, because farming is of course the backbone of this country, because you know, if you don't eat, how you will survive. Okay, because I know many of you do not know how to do farming. So what is agriculture practices? Agriculture practices is what? It is help human to settle down to produce their own food. Agriculture has helped the whole humans to settle down to a particular place and produce the food for their own. Okay, means they are producing the food for their own benefits, for their own utilization, and of course all the population which is existing in the country. So agriculture is of course a process, a phenomenon, whatever you want to say, or practice to create your own food, to harvest your own food, to have your own farming land, so that you can create your own food and or basically have a production of your own food. So children, it led the beginning of the first cities and produced more food, so people start spending more time on the other interests like learning and creating. Okay, so simply what agriculture has basically done, so agriculture land or agriculture people are basically, few people are totally involved in the agricultural practices. Basically they are involved in the whole production thing, so the rest of the people can basically focus on the learning and creating different interests. So not everybody learns how to, not everybody know how to basically get into the farming, not everybody know what are the agricultural practices. Only few people, of course the farmers, the most important people, you know, because without them we cannot have our food. Only they know exactly what are the procedures, what are the few steps taken to have a better production of the food, be it vegetables, be it your pulses, rice, anything, wheat, etc. Whichever food you want to name is basically only possible because some people know how to basically use the land to create, to actually harvest, to have their own food. Okay, so children, moving on with this agriculture practices, talking about more. So children, the most cultivated crops, so the most cultivated crops is basically from the part which includes either the seeds or the fruits, the flowers, the leaves, the stem or the roots. Most cultivated part in general, what we are going to talk about is that these are the few parts of the plant which are most cultivated. What we eat, sometimes we eat the stem of the plant, sometimes we eat flower of the plant, sometimes we eat seeds from the plant, sometimes we eat root of the plant. So which part of the particular plant is edible to for the consumption, it totally depends on the agriculture practices and that particular plant. Simple. So we can have a cultivation of seeds and fruits kind of a crops in which we obtain lots of seeds and fruits. We can have certain plants in which the flower is more appropriate for consumption. We can also have plants in which leaves are appropriate from the consumption. We can also have plants in which the stem is for the consumption, and we can also have plants in which the roots are for the consumption. So let's see which of the following is the most cultivated part of the plant. As I click it, children, yes, the most cultivated part of the plant is the stem. In 2018, almost 2 billion tons of sugarcane was produced. Sugarcane is what? Have you seen sugarcane? Sugarcane, children, is a stem. So the stem in 2018 of which was of a sugarcane was cultivated the most or utilized the most basically. So it is basically according to the whole data and everything. I am not saying that the other parts are not useful, but the most cultivated part of the plant is the stem. Example, sugarcane. Sugarcane is what? Is a stem. Have you seen those tall plants, absolutely tall plants? Those are of sugarcane. Okay, what is sugarcane? Sugarcane is a stem. Okay, moving forward with the agriculture practices, let's see what we have next. We have the plants cultivated for their leaves are, we have few plants which are cultivated because of their leaves. You know, you obtain lettuce, you know cabbage, you know basil leaves, yes or no? These are what? These are all parts of the plant which is more edible to use. So the lettuce leaves, the cabbage is all what are? They are leaves, and of course the basil leaves. These are all the parts of the plant which is most edible, which is being cultivated. Example, lettuce, cabbage, basils. Okay, you know there is a carrot. Carrot has this leafy structure above it. The radish also have this leafy structure above it. So children, the carrot tops can be made in pesto. Seeds such as rice, corn, quinoa are the large proportion of food today. What are rice? What are corn? The rice and corn are the seeds. As you can see, children, these are the seeds. You know we consume a lot of rice. Okay, we consume a lot of wheat, we consume a lot of corn also. Okay, quinoa seeds also. So I am still saying that there is no particular thing that which particular person likes which part of the plant, because we are actually consuming every part of the plant in one or the other ways. Some plants have the leaves which are edible, some plants have stem which are edible, some plants have both stem and leaves which are edible, some plants have seeds which are edible. Okay, so technically there is no preference, whichever part is being cultivated, it has to be edible. Okay, and respective people, respective region have their own specialty with respect to the cultivation of the food. Okay, clear? Moving forward with more agriculture practices, children, there is a question for you that the harrow and the plow are the agriculture tools. So what are the tools? I know you guys are not going to do the farming, but it is an amazing, but at least you should know which products, which things are being used in the cultivation. Okay, so children, the harrow and the plough are the two agriculture tools which are being used by the farmers for the cultivation of the process. So this particular plough, what does it do? The plough is used to break the soil for planting. You know that it is basically you just dap it on the soil and just you drag it, the soil will come out, it will create a space so that you can sow your plant. Yes or no? Where you sow your plant? In the soil. So the plough basically help you to remove the soil so that you can sow your plants. Okay, the harrow, what is the harrow is used for? Children, the harrow is used to level the smooth and the ground. So basically, if you have ever seen something attached to the tractor, have you been around the village, town or the countryside? Have you ever been to, children? How many of you have ever been to the countryside? Come on. Or to the village region? Have you seen there is some person who has this tractor, and behind this tractor there is this one attached, this harrow attached, and he is being running the tractor all throughout the land. So what is that tractor doing? He is not just riding the tractor, he is actually leveling the whole land. It basically, he is leveling the whole land, so all the particular land is in the even out structure. Yes, good. If you have not been to, you please at least go once. You have to see the village life. You have to see that how they work hard so much in the sun, in so difficult conditions to get you food. Okay, so this harrow is basically used to level and smooth the ground. So these are the two agriculture tools being used by the farmers for the cultivation purposes. Okay, moving forward with the other things, we have the, do you remember the innovation that got us to stop being hunter gathering and living in our cities? Select which one. What you think, children, is the reason that we stopped living in the what? Stopped being hunter gatherers and started living in a civilized way because of the what innovation, basically, due to which innovation we started living in the cities, not in the jungle. Just giving you a question. Come on, children, what do you think? Just a GK question. Good evening, you're late for the class. Yes, the reason that we started living in a civilized way in the whole cities is because of the agriculture, because we know that there are some people who are working for us, getting us the food, and we can basically go and do other stuff. So that doesn't mean that give us a leverage over them. No, they're completely, absolutely important people. If they are not there, who is going to feed us? Okay, we don't have another option. We don't know even how the agriculture process works. Okay, so of course, because of the agriculture. Very smart people, I see good answers. Moving forward, children, talking about the need to drag and drop that are cultivated for the seeds and dab them over the seed pile. What do you think among them are cultivated for the seeds? Which are the food which are the seeds? Come on, drag and drop in these three. That these three are cultivated because of their seed. Because the edible part of that plant is the seed. What is that? Yes, Alvin, the leveling of the land is the work of an harrow. Okay, initially long back the farmer used to use hand, but now the harrow is completely available and you can just tie it with your tractor or whichever vehicle you are using and you just roam around the whole land. The land will become in the same level. Okay, what do you think, children? Come on, quickly answer. Very simple, just now we have discussed it, right? That which of them we use for the seeds. Yes, we use Ritesh, Acharya, Nitin. Come on, quickly. Children, corn, quinoa and rice are all we are using for the seeds. Tomatoes, no. Tomato is a, okay, we are using it for the seed. It's a fruit. Okay, moving forward, children. The rice, quinoa and corn plants are used for the seeds. The edible part is the seed. Okay, moving forward, children. So, 40% of the world's global population works under agriculture sector. Of course, can you see this, how they are contributing to the GDP, to the economic growth of the country? 40% of the world's global population is working in the agriculture sector. And agriculture requires a lot of processes which is called agriculture practices. Yes, what are agriculture practices? The agriculture practices which require lots of process. One by one there is a process done so that you can have food and we can basically cultivate the crops. So, the 40% of the world population is involved in the agriculture sector. The agriculture requires a lot of processes and that is why we call them those processes which is being done. Can you see the harrow? This is what I was talking about, children. See, we got the picture. This is what I was talking about. Elvin, this is how the harrow works. There is a tractor, it is being tied up at the back and yes, Arsha, what is the doubt? You can ask me doubt by basically sending a message in the chat box. You can always ask the doubt. Can you see, children? This is a harrow. So, the 40% of the world global population is in the agriculture sectors and there are different agriculture practices needed to be done for the different process so that there is a cultivation. Okay. Asha, animal husbandry is different because you obtain those chicken, eggs, fishes. Okay. Those are animal husbandry. The cows, goat, buffalo, milk. We obtain milk from the cattle. Yes. We obtain the eggs from the chicken. Okay. Those are animal husbandry. Yes or no? We obtain wool from the sheep. So, in which the animals are used to obtain our particular, we use animals for the cultivation of different products. That is what you call animal husbandry. Is it clear, children? Is it clear, Arsha? The animal husbandry is totally different. We use animals to obtain certain products. Okay. The milk is obtained from the cow, goat. Okay. Yes or no? And the eggs are being obtained from the chicken. Okay. The wool has been obtained from the sheep. So, there are different processes basically. Yes, we also do the fishing because we obtain, some people consume fishes also. So, coming back to our agriculture practices, let's see what are the agricultural practices involved which basically led to the cultivation of the crops. Okay. So, let's see what are the agriculture practices. The very first agriculture practices is the practices done by the farmers to basically have this thing. Steps performed by farmer when growing the frog. So, what are practices? Agriculture practices are those steps, those processes which are performed by the farmers so that they can grow a crop. Okay, from sowing the seeds, from keep watering, adding the fertilization and basically keeping them safe from the whole pest and work, and no, we cannot use it, Yashika, on any land. Okay, that is typically for the farming only. This is not something you can use on a cemented land or something. That harrow is an agriculture tool. This is what I told you, na? That harrow is an agriculture tool. The name is very much clear that it is only an agriculture tool. It is going to be used on the agriculture land. Okay, you cannot use it on a cemented land or something. Okay, so practices are the processes, are the steps used by the farmers for the cultivation of the crops. Let's see what are these practices. Children, see, these are the practices. So, we are going to study about each and every one of them in one by one. So, select each step to know more about them. We need to select each and every one of them to see whether they are working, how they are basically working. So, I am selecting what? The very first image, as you can see, I am selecting this. As I select, this is the very first step of the agriculture practices. So, what is the very first step of the practice? That we need to prepare the soil. What we have to do? We have to do the preparation of the soil. So, the very first step is the preparation of the soil. Talking about the preparation, children, loosening the soil to make sure nutrients, water and air can flow properly. So, of course, whenever you have to make a food or your mother is making food in the kitchen, before she start making a certain kind of a dish, she needs preparations to be done. What are the preparations? She will have some kind of spices, she will have some oil, she will have some vegetables, okay, some ingredients to be added. So, she will first of all arrange everything at one place. So, exactly similar manner, okay, what we have to do? We have to take care of the soil, that it is rich in nutrients, it has water, it has airflow inside it properly. Okay, so the very first method, the very first process is the preparation of the soil. Okay, moving again, I am going back. Okay, let's go back. Next again, this is our second step. Shall I click on the second step? Shall we move forward, children? Yes or no? Shall we move forward? Yes. Moving on to our second step, the second step involves the sowing of the seed, where basically what we do, we plant the seed in the soil. Can you see this, children? This is how the seeds are being sowed in the soil. Can you see this? This is the second step towards the agriculture practices, placement of the seed in the soil. Clear? This is the second step. First, preparation. Second, we need to sow the seed. Let's see what is the third step. Going again back. This is the third step. Let's click on this. Let's see what happens in the third step. What? Third step, children, is the addition of fertilizers. What is fertilizer or manure? If many of you have a kitchen garden in your home, or people who know, your parents might have done the plantings, they have plants at your home, you know what we do, we sometimes tends to mix some kind of a fertilizer in the soil so our plant can obtain lots and lots of nutrition and can grow well. So, addition of the fertilizer and manure, the farmers add manure and fertilizer to increase the fertility of the soil, to make sure the crops get all the nutrients and minerals they need. Yes, we tend to add lots of fertilizer and manure to the soil. So, when we basically, the farmers keep the scarecrows, children, to basically predators, to basically sweep away the predators. So, nobody comes in the land, and basically what they do, if some animal is basically wanted to attack the field or come to the field and destroy the crops, the animal will assume some person is standing over there. Okay, so he will not come because he will think that some person is standing over there, he will attack him, and that is why he just go away. So, the scarecrows are because of that only. Okay. Okay, children. So, coming back to the addition of fertilizer. So, we adding fertilizer to the soil so that there is enough nutrients in the soil and the plant can grow well. Again, this is our step. Thus, we again going back. We have reached there. Now, the fourth option. Shall I click on the fourth option? Is the initial 3 steps clear, children? Is the initial 3 steps clear? Everyone? Is the initial 3 steps clear? First, second, third is clear? Okay. Moving forward to our fourth step, let's press on the fourth step. As I press on the fourth step involves the watering of the crops. Can you see this, children? This is how we water the crops, the irrigation method, providing water to the crops. Children, you know the water is absolutely necessary for the plant. So, we need to keep them moist, we need to keep them wet. Okay. So, the fourth step is that to keep the field wet through the irrigation system. Okay. This is the fourth agriculture practices. Okay. The fourth is watering the field. Again, I am going back. Now, I am going to do what is happening with the fifth. Let's see what is in the fifth step. Clicking on the fifth is the protection from the weeds. What is protection from the weeds? Children, you know, you will not eat a fruit, you will not eat a vegetable which has some worm inside it, some pest inside it. Yes or no? Yes or no? So, these pests, these insects can destroy the whole cultivation. So, what farmers do? Farmers tend to spray some weedicides. Weedicides are also basically some small plants which try to eat the crop. Okay, small plants, basically extra plants. In Hindi, what you call jungly plants. Okay, so to keep away the weeds from the plants, we tend to spray the weedicide which stops the growth of the weed plants around the crops. Okay, this is the fifth step. Coming to our sixth step, let's see what we do in the sixth step. We harvest. So, after our crop is ready, the seeds and the fruits, the vegetables or any edible part is ready, we try to harvest it. So, this is how we harvest it. Can you see this, children? This is how the harvesting is done continuously. See, all the seeds are being added to the container. Okay. So, this is a very advanced method. Okay. Our farmers, some people do not have access to such kind of a machinery. So, they do it by hand also. Okay. So, they use their hands and they use the tools needed for the harvesting. So, cutting of the crops after their maturing fully. Okay. Moving back, we have the last step of the agriculture practices, which is the whole what? Storage. I have a crop equal to 100 kgs or 90 kgs. Okay. Totally depends, Malhar, that how much things a particular farmer have. If he is having all the accessories, if he having those instruments, if he has those machineries, why he will use hand. But some people do not have access to all the machineries, so they tend to work under that condition only. So, they can use manual labor also, they use hands also for the harvesting. Okay. Okay. So, children, talking about the storage, so we have stored an ample, we have harvested 100 kgs or 90 kgs or 80 kgs of our crops, and the moment we have harvested, we need to keep them in a storage before they get out and sold in the market. I need to store them in a proper place, in a proper manner. Okay, so that they do not get destroyed, because the farmer still needs to sell out these crops in the market and obtain some money, and again he needs to start the process. Okay. So, the last step of the agriculture practices is the storage. Okay. Clear, children? Moving back, all these 7 I hope are clear, yes or no? All these 7 practices, all these 7 processes is clear for the harvesting, for the agriculture, for creation of a new crop. What is to be done, is it clear or not? Seed drill is, children, nothing, just when you start sowing the seed. Okay, you're sowing the seeds, that's the whole seed drill about. Okay, after the land is ready, after the land is basically seen it is fertilized enough, using the whole harrow and everything, leveling of the soil, we sow the seed. That is the seed drill. We are sowing the seeds all over the land. Okay. So, this is all the 7 practices of the agriculture. Let's see what we have next. We have a question for you. So children, you need to drag and drop the activity which is taking place here. What do you think, which kind of an activity which is being taking over here? What we are doing? We are doing irrigation, we are doing harvesting, we are removing weeds, or we are storing. What do you think is basically taking place? What do you think is basically taking place? Come on, quickly. What do you think is taking place? Yes, this process is called harvesting. This is the sixth step. Before we try to store our grains, store our crop, we do the harvesting. Children, you shouldn't have got this wrong. This is absolutely easy. Okay. Next question. Drag and drop the images to arrange them in the correct order which they should be performed. So children, I have told you all the 7 steps in sequence. So you need to arrange them in the sequence. Come on, quickly arrange them in a sequence. Come on, quickly arrange them in a sequence in the manner of their agriculture practices. Come on, quickly do that. Yes, the very first thing is the what? Basically making the soil even, checking the fertilizer, then sowing the seed, then watering, and then finally harvesting. Okay, I see many of you have given the correct answer. Good children, they are the correct order of these steps. So children, this brings us to the end of our session, but before you go, there is this particular question for you. You know that there is always a season of every particular crop, okay, every particular fruit, okay. The mangoes, there is a mango season, there is an apple season, there is a muskmelon season, there is a lychee season, and especially everything is not basically harvested along the whole year. So there are specific reasons for all the crops, which is we going to discuss in the next session when we will meet again. And children, talking about the whole session, what we have discussed about the agriculture, we have discussed about the edible parts of the different crops, and we have also discussed about the practices basically need in the agriculture, that is the preparation, sowing of the seed, adding of the manure, irrigation, protection from the weeds, and the harvesting and the storage. So these are all the agriculture practices which is needed to be done to have a proper agriculture or proper good harvested crops. Okay, so children, before you go, I wanted to introduce you to this, which is the Embibe app. Children, this is everything all at one place. So this is your Embibe app. What you have to do, you just have to click on this particular button. You can select your respective board, and I have selected CBSE. I will click next, and I have to select my respective exam and the class I belong to. I belong to 8th CBSE. This is what I will select, and I will press next. I will select the respective language, and I press done. And I land on this particular board. And as I press on the home button, you will see there is an option of the Embibe live classes. And children, all the upcoming classes will be scheduled over here, and all the next day's classes would be over here, and all the past session will be also present over here. You can also learn yourself. You can go through different topics, yes, it is absolutely free. You can register yourself. Okay, this is absolutely free. The registering is only because it will send you an update before the class. Okay, so that you can attempt pre and post class sessions. Okay, pre and post class activities are important. So that you can do that, you have to register yourself. So children, you can go through any subject you want, science, mathematics, social science, you can learn. This is me right now teaching you. So this is how I am. Okay, what are agriculture practices, and you can also practice questions from different topic, different subject. You can also test yourself. You can see how much you have achieved. Okay, absolutely free. Next children, this is your Embibe Lens app. What you have to do, you just have to download it from the app store, scan the text, it will highlight all the important keywords and it will show you everything in 3D. So next time we'll meet, I will ask you, have you downloaded this? What you have to do, just download it, scan the text, take your biology, take your science book, just scan it. It will highlight all the words and will show you everything in 3D. Okay children, please do go and try this at home. Let me know. Next time we'll come and we'll discuss about that. Have you tried this or not? Okay, I will schedule my next class on the Embibe app. You can do register for the class. Okay children, please take care. Till then, keep imbibing. Bye bye.
Keep imbibing. We believe in you.